284 for 4 for the visitors.
Thank
Fair
you.
to say that this was England's day on day one?
Yes, I think so. I think when a team wins a toss, bats first and gets close to 300 and loses only 3 or 4 wickets, you've got to say it is their day. If they had lost maybe 5 wickets, you could have said it was pretty 50-50, maybe a little bit more in favour of England. But today, clearly, I think after the first session, the second and the third session were dominated by England.
Right, Mr. Gavaskar, the English have been accused of not having enough intent in this series, in patches at least. There was Virat who addressed a press conference and said that, I think it was after the second test, and some other people have also gone on to say exactly the same. What was your take on the kind of intent shown on the English on day one of the Chennai test, especially after they were reduced to 21 for 2?
Well, I think they certainly were keen to make sure that the final test they show their true caliber. We've got to give credit to the Indian team, the batsmen as well as the bowlers, for not actually having allowed this England team to play to their full potential, because this is not a bad England team at all. This is a pretty fine England team. They've got some match winners in their team. They've got in Alistair Cook somebody who's just got to 11,000 runs, so somebody who's been a terrific batsman for England. So it's been a good team. It's just that the Indians have played that much better cricket and have subdued them. So today is their opportunity. This test is their opportunity to go back with their heads held high.
Right, we'll of course talk about 2 of their standout batsmen, at least in this particular test so far, Moeen Ali and Joe Root, in greater detail in just a bit. But before that, let's talk about the way India bowled, sir, on day one. Did you feel that they applied enough pressure, or could they have done more of that?
Well, considering there was turn in the pitch, I thought India could have taken a few more wickets. I think their length was a little bit off the English length, which was just short of good length. I think you've got to try and get the batsman to drive the ball, because that is where the batsman gets committed. So when you get to that particular length, then you get your rewards. I think they bowled just that little bit short, and because this is a slow pitch, if you bowl just that little bit short of a good length, batsmen can change their shot both of the front foot as well as of the back foot.
Right, now talking about the English batsman, Mr. Gavaskar, Moeen Ali, the batsman, do you feel he often doesn't get perhaps his full share of praise, because he can be a standout batsman, as he showed again on day one here? He hasn't had too many big knocks of late, but do you feel he often gets the praise that he deserves?
Well, he's got his second 100 of this series. Now, 200s in a 5-test series is very, very good. He's also had a half century at Mumbai. So he hasn't let the team down with the bat. Yes, there have been some pretty ordinary shots in some of the earlier test matches. But I think today was different. Today, again, before lunch, he started pretty shakily. It was a bit of loose driving. And towards the end, after he reached the 100 as well, there's just a little looseness in his game. That's something that he needs to tighten up, but he's batting on 120, and England are in a very good position. So I think for this 100, he should get the praise that he deserves.
And what's your take on Joe Root, sir? He, of course, missed out on a century on a day one, but he was, of course, tagged as the key English batsman before the series began. He's, of course, the leading English run scorer in this particular series. What's your take on the way he's played and the impact that he's had on the entire series?
Well, he batted exceedingly well. I mean, he's batted well in all the matches, but unfortunately for England, he hasn't been able to convert those 70s and 80s into a major innings, 150 plus or 200 plus, which can change the game in his team's favour. Getting 70s and 80s every time you play, and that's what's happened. He scored a 50 against India 11 times that he's played, 11 test matches he's played. So in every test match, he's got a 50 against India, half century against India. And that's terrific going. But for a side to be in control, I think the batsman needs to score 150 or more. And I think that's what England will be telling Moeen Ali to do tomorrow. Carry on from 120, maybe get as many as you can. That way England can get to 450 or even 500.
Mr. Gavaskar, as far as Team India is concerned, of course, the series is already in the bag for them. This is a dead rubber in that sense, England playing for pride. But how important is it for Virat and company to maintain the momentum, to not take their foot off the pedal, considering it is going to be a long home test season again, with Bangladesh coming in for a one-off test and then the big one against the Aussies?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. This is just the first half of the domestic season. And they've got to end on a winning note. This is the last test of 2016. They've got to end on a winning note. So when 2017 comes along, they'll be that much more confident. I think every time you stumble once, it becomes a little bit difficult to regain your balance. So it's important not to lose this one, to win this one as well, get a 4-0. And that'll be a fantastic way to end 2016.
What did you make, sir, of the change that India made, bringing in Ishant Sharma for Bhuvneshwar? 12 overs that Ishant bowled on day one, figures of 1 for 25. Were you impressed with the way that he bowled? Because he was, of course, coming into the team after a brief layoff.
Yes, very impressed because, his rhythm was very good. He ran in well, ran in with intent, as they say, hit the pitch hard, got the ball to bounce the odd occasion, got the ball to move. The way he set up Keaton Jennings was fantastic. The way he bowled short of length, and then pushed one up for the drive. So brought all his experience into play, and it's good to see him get the wickets because, he's very much a rhythm bowler, and his rhythm was very, very good. And that too coming after almost a couple of months of not having played any kind of cricket. I think that is a very good sign for India for the future, to have all their bowlers firing at all guns.
Right, one final question, sir, before we wrap up. The way the pitch is playing right now at the Chepauk, what would your prediction be for day 2? Because India, of course, it's not done and dusted yet at all. India can still go on and win this match.
Of course they can, because if they get England out in the next 70, 80 runs, restrict them to about 360, 70, then they certainly will stand themselves a very good chance of coming and winning. There is turn in the pitch, we've seen that. And very seldom have we seen a little turn and bounce like we have seen at Chepauk. So this is something that India needs to exploit very early on day 2.
All right, so that 4-0 scoreline still very much on for Virat and company. Mr. Gavaskar, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we'll, of course, chat with you again after day 2 of the Chennai Test. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.